What if the most important battle ever fought didn't happen on a battlefield at all? What if it happened in a quiet garden while everyone else was asleep? It was a night wrapped in shadows and silence. The moon glowed faintly over the olive trees in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus walked ahead. His steps were slow. His heart was heavy. Behind him followed three of his closest friends, Peter, James, and John. They didn't understand, not really, how close they were to the edge of eternity. Jesus asked them to stay close, to keep watch, to pray. Then he went a little farther. Alone, his soul was filled with sorrow, not because of pain, but because of the weight of what was coming, the betrayal, the cross, and the burden of every sin ever committed. He knelt down beneath the trees, and he prayed, "Father, if there's another way." But then, he chose surrender. He chose trust. He chose obedience, even though it would cost him everything. His anguish was so deep that his sweat fell like drops of blood. Then heaven answered. An angel appeared, bringing quiet strength and comfort. Yet even with comfort, the battle inside Jesus' heart still raged. Jesus returned to his disciples, but they were asleep. They didn't see. They didn't understand. They didn't realize. This was the turning point of all history. He asked them again, "Wake up, pray." But their eyes stayed closed. He went to pray a second time, then a third, each time more intense. Each moment drawing him closer to his decision. And then came the torches. The soldiers arrived with swords and clubs, and leading them was someone Jesus had once called friend. But Jesus stood up, peace in his eyes. He had already made his choice. In the garden, not to run, not to fight, but to love, even unto death. In the stillness of Gethsemane, before the cross, before the crown of thorns, Jesus fought a silent battle, and he won it with surrender. He could have stopped everything with just one word, but instead, he let them nail him to a cross. Why? The sky was dark with sorrow, even before the clouds arrived. Jesus, beaten and bruised, carried a heavy wooden cross through the dusty streets of Jerusalem. Every step hurt. Every breath was a struggle. But still, he kept walking. For love, crowds lined the road. Some were curious. Some were cruel. But in the midst of it all were eyes that wept and hearts that ached. Soldiers barked orders. They struck him when he stumbled. And when he fell, a man from the crowd was pulled forward to help. His name was Simon, and he would never forget the weight he carried that day. Finally, they reached the hill called Golgotha. There, Jesus was laid on the cross. Iron nails pierced his hands and his feet. The sky began to darken, even though it was still midday. From the cross, Jesus looked down, not with anger, but with mercy. Even while he suffered, he showed love. He forgave the ones who hurt him. He comforted a criminal beside him. And he made sure that his mother would be cared for. Then, the ground trembled. The sky turned black, and the whole earth seemed to groan. And after hours of pain, and love, and silence, Jesus took one final breath and gave up his spirit. At that very moment, inside the temple, A thick curtain, one that had hung for generations, ripped from top to bottom. It was as if heaven itself shouted. The barrier between God and people was gone. On the cross, Jesus chose to take the punishment we deserved. Why? Because his love is greater than our sin, and his sacrifice opened the way back to God. When Jesus' friends went to visit his grave, they expected to find sadness, silence, a stone. But what they found was something so shocking, it changed the world forever. Very early on Sunday morning, while the sky was still painted in soft shades of blue and gold, a group of women walked quietly toward a tomb. Their hearts were heavy. Their hands carried spices. They came to honor the one they loved. But they didn't know they were walking into joy. When they arrived, the stone that had sealed the tomb, it was already rolled away. Inside, no body, just grave clothes, folded neatly where Jesus had once been laid. Suddenly, an angel appeared, shining like lightning, bright as the skies of heaven, and he spoke the words that would echo through all of history. He is not here. He has risen. The women ran, hearts pounding, feet flying, to tell the disciples. Peter and John dashed to the tomb. John reached it first and stopped. Peter rushed inside and saw it with his own eyes. Empty. But it wasn't just the tomb that was empty. It was death itself. Jesus had conquered it. Later that same morning, in a quiet garden, one of the women stayed behind, weeping. She didn't recognize the man standing nearby until he said her name. And in that moment, she knew it was Jesus. Alive, real, victorious. Her tears turned into joy, her sorrow into celebration. She ran to tell the others, her voice full of wonder. I've seen the Lord. The tomb is still empty today. Because Jesus rose again, hope is alive. Love has won. And the story? It's not over. It's just beginning.